Oh boy. Oh fucking boy, dude. There is so much to talk about in this chapter, dude, that I don't even know if I have enough time. I'm sure I have enough time because I'll probably run out of things eventually, but Jesus Christ. This chapter is building up so much anticipation and hype that I don't know how this is going to be delivered upon. But Jesus Christ, this chapter is so fucking hype, dude. It is so goddamn fucking hype. I just can't even contain the amount of just sheer fucking wow in my brain. So I guess I'll just dive right into the review, right? That's what all you came here for. That's what I'm here for. So you know what? We'll skip all the small talk and all the bullshit, and we'll just go ahead and dive in. So the chapter begins with a panel of Shiggy obviously waking up, his eyes snap open, and we then get the chapter 272 title called Good Morning. That was what it was translated to. That's, I guess, what it will be called. So we then cut to a scene where basically, one of the interns' sidekicks named Vernon just talks about, everyone's evacuating the city. You have the 1A students evacuating Ida, Ochako, Todoroki, Bakugo, and then Koda is his name. They're all evacuating people. But I think the big moment that stands out here is when Todoroki looks over and Deku is shook, right? Deku mad shook. He's grabbing his arm, and he hears a voice in his head that says he's coming. And Deku then realizes who this is because he says you have to stop him. Deku then says it's the beginning of One for All, the first user's voice. And we even get a little panel of what he looks like. And he kind of looks like Shiggy a bit, to an extent. The hair is similar, but the hair falls over his face a little bit. We don't get a full reveal of his face, but it's not like his face means something, right? And Deku just says even though he hasn't interfered since that time, and he says the recoil. I can't speak. A transcendent being is coming. And Deku then... Oh, sorry. It says exponential power, liberated from its human shackles. A transcendent being is coming. And Deku then turns. And Deku's clutching himself, he's almost in pain. And he turns towards the mountain range, which starts to turn black. And that, my friends, is the holy shit. That is when you look at it and you're like, oh goddamn, shit's about to go down. And that's when we cut back to the hospital where Shiggy sits up and Exilus has no fucking clue what to do, buddy. Alright, he looks over and he's like, oh, okay, villain is awake. I probably should do something. No, I'm not going to do anything. And Shiggy only says one thing and he says, I'm cold. And then we cut away from Shiggy to President Mike, who carries the doctor out of the lab. He's now out of the lab and officially back into the hospital. We didn't see a few frames of the High Nomu getting wrapped up with Endeavor, Ryuko, and Gran Torino. But then what happens is we get a third-person shot of Mike and the doctor just barely out of the lab tunnel. The doctor looks up, President Mike looks around, and you start to see these little white coils coming towards them at the doorway. And this is an obvious sign that shit is getting decayed at a rapid rate, okay? Fucking rapid. We then get a really good shot of the doctor being held by Mike as just a big, decay explosion coming from the lab door. And the doctor is in complete and utter, happiness, I guess? But Mike's not dumb, alright? He notices pretty quickly. And I guess he starts running, but Gran Torino just zooms in and snatches them both. As basically the decay starts completely taking over the hospital at this point. And Gran Torino says, everyone evacuate, don't touch the rupturing parts, and it'll kill you. And he says this to people like 13. I believe Edgeshot is one of them. And at this point, we see the inside of the lab, where Ryuko is grabbing as many heroes as possible. As the lab starts to crumble, we then see Aizawa and or Eraserhead. Ryuko says get on. Tells him to latch on with his bandages, and he does. But as he latches on, a surviving high-end Nomu grabs his leg. And before any of you get a little bit nervous, I think one of the standout moments of this chapter for sure is when you see a shield cuts the High-End Nomu's arm in half. Or not in half. Okay, sorry. It does cut the High-End Nomu's arm off to where Aizawa can then get away. And you then see that Crust, it was Crust who threw the shield, right? One of the top 10 heroes who hadn't really done much other than fighting the High-End Nomu. He gets a standout moment here. It is unfortunate, though, because he throws the shield, but he doesn't have any way to latch on to Ryuku, as Aizawa looks on in complete and utter, I want to say grief, or I guess regret, but Crust is shown to be crumbling from his torso up, from his legs up. And right before he completely crumbles to dust, we see him give a thumbs up and an All Might level smile. Like, I'm not even joking, though. It literally looks like he just drew All Might with, like, a Crust disguise on. And then, right when the thumbs up comes, it shows a shot of Ryuku flying out of the hospital, and we see Crust completely shattered into pieces. I think this is probably a standout moment, because I don't think Crust got a lot of time to shine, even though he was a top 10 hero. And the fact that he didn't get much moment in the series to shine, because I guarantee you it's probably not an easy way to bring back someone who's decayed from the dead, if even. So I think this is the end of Crust here, guys. Not that he had a much standout moment, but I think this shield moment is really going to give him at least a noble end, because Aizawa has been theorized to be dying in this arc one way or another. So the fact that Crust gives us up his life to save a major character, you'll be remembered, Crust. Amen, buddy. Alright, you had a noble end. We then see Endeavor grab Mirko and just fucking shoot his way out of the lab. Like, he is not hesitating whatsoever. He's done. He's gone. He's out. So this is pretty much the point where all the heroes, it's pretty much Ryuku, Gran Torino, and Endeavor are grabbing as many people as possible, and you can see Ryuku's having a problem getting through the tunnel because she's so big in her dragon form, but she can fly in that form, so she can prevent, touching of all the decayed pieces, so the decay does not spread. We then get a big shot, pretty much. So the next part is pretty much a montage of sorts, because the Doctor does this huge long speech for the rest of the chapter, as we get pretty much all the shots of what happens to the rest of the characters. So when I say dialogue, so there's no more dialogue from any other characters for the rest of this chapter. So when I'm reading something, or it sounds like I'm reading something, this is coming from the Doctor, who is talking while he's being carried out, while we're also being shown shots of all the characters. So the Doctor then starts the speech by saying it was a total loss, and we see pretty much the entire hospital engulfed in decay. We see Wash, who is putting everyone in hospital beds into bubbles and flying them out. We see a hero running for his life as he crumbles into dust. We see Wash pretty much looking like he might be overwhelmed from decay, but once again his fate is left up to it's very ambiguous. It's very vague. We don't know if he's, we don't get a shot of him dying or him being close to death, so we don't know. We then cut to the outskirts of the city where people are being evacuated, and we see the Pussycats from Season 3. They're running away from the decay. I don't remember her name. I believe it was, is it Ragdoll? Is it Ragdoll or Pixie? One of the two. No, there's no, it was Pixie. I don't remember. But the one who can make, like, walls of earth and shit. She puts up a giant earth wall to try to contain the decay, and it only works so much because the decay just goes right through to the earth wall and crumbles. And the Doctor says, "You probably went through so much effort just for this day." And once again, the decay crumbles through the earth walls, and once again, we are left with complete and utter vague information on whether or not the Pussycats will get out of there alive, because none of them can fly, and I don't know if they can run fast enough as the decay spreads. We then get a shot of Shigaraki in the middle of utter of all the chaos. It's like the eye of the storm, and the Doctor says, "But now, by a miracle or maybe through sheer will, a plus ultra Shigaraki has arisen." And Shigaraki does the thing that we saw in the spoilers, where he takes Exilus's cape and he throws it over his back, Doctor Strange style. And this is pretty much like the ultimate flex, bro. And then we get just a gorgeous art shot that says, "And everything the heroes have built up will crumble before him with a single touch." And we see the entire town. Do you guys remember that really terrible movie with Gerard Butler about, like, the weather? And it was like natural disaster movie. This is what this shot looks like. It looks like a massive flood is completely taking the city, because it shows a big shot of the city, and about half of it is engulfed in just this big tsunami of what is being decayed. But it looks like a tsunami from the way it's drawn, but it's just the decay spreading throughout the city and basically destroying everything, because this city will probably be a crater. Shigaraki was able to turn an entire city into a crater before his enhancement, and now after his enhancement, who knows how big his decay could be, bro. I also love this line though. And everything the heroes have built up will crumble beneath him will crumble before him with a single touch. This is some super villain comic book shit, and I love it. I fucking love it, alright? This is like a Western comic books combined with an anime chapter right here, because we're getting the anime villain hype up, but we're also getting some lines that you would see in like a DC, like Infinite, what's it called? Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline. Or this is like something you would hear like the Avengers say about like Thanos and Marvel shit. This is some big stake level lines here. And pretty much the final part, or the final page of the chapter, Deku so Deku powers up to 45%. He then kicks a hole in the sand, or he kicks a hole in the ground, so the decay cannot spread. It probably won't stop the decay, but it buys him time at least, right? And then Deku says, "Everyone get away." Bakugo says, "Tell everyone to run." And then Burnin says, "Endeavor, are you there?" She can't get a hold of him. And then the last panel is of the Doctor in complete and utter bliss, saying, "This is our victory." And that's where we end. So this chapter pretty much solely exists to build up the absolute monstrosity that is the new Shiggy. And you want to know the scary part is that transformation was at 75%, I believe, 74%. It didn't even finish. But Shigaraki is just fucking, he literally might kill so many pro heroes with this decay thing, dude. It is insane. I feel like Ryuku and Gran Torino will probably escape along with Endeavor and Mirko. But people like the Pussycats and Wash, and I believe Wash was a top 10 hero, they might not make it. Especially Wash, who was at the hospital. There's no way you run fast enough, bro. The Pussycats were at the outskirts of the city, and they were almost overwhelmed with the decay, bro. I don't know how, if Wash, doesn't, Wash could probably put himself into a bubble, right? But I wonder if the decay can touch the bubble and do all that jazz. Either way, this entire chapter is solely for the hype that is going to be built here. Alright? Next chapter, I hope we keep with this storyline. We better not cut away. I don't know where the story could go, honestly. I think we'll probably get one more chapter of people trying to avoid this decay, but Deku knows what's up, okay? One for All is speaking through him to tell him just how of a fucking monster Shiggy is. And all I'm saying is, bro, this arc is going to get insane, because this man is a literal fucking god, bro. Alright? So if you want me to wrap up this chapter in one word, it's definitely hype. And it's definitely a good fucking chapter for you Shiggy fans, because oh my god, this is so good. It's also setting up Deku as well to be the prime man to take Shiggy down with the way it's building them both up. So I mean, if you're a My Hero fan, boys, you prepare to get excited, because I feel like this is the part where all of our main characters get involved and things are gonna get real fucking good. Just wait and see.